enough things to like in how we played in certain areas, but we lost by 22 points. And we have to find a way to not give the ball away in critical situations and find ways that when we are in situations that we can score to score. I think we can all point to the games that we have played this season where we've had opportunities to score and haven't. And that, again, showed up on Saturday evening. And then defensively, we have to eliminate the explosive plays, especially early in the game. They're never good. Explosive plays are never good. They happen. It's the way game works. But we need to be able to be a little sharper early. Obviously, they hit us on a pass versus two-deep zone where our team has defended that pass numerous times during training camp against us, and Oregon executed it extremely well, had a guy open, and then we didn't make a tackle to finish that. And then they hit a couple of runs in the C gap one time and the A gap one time, which were pretty explosive runs. Special teams-wise, we had another missed field goal. We wanted to continue to work on that. At that point in time in the game, there was only a few minutes left. We were down by 3 scores. We were not going to come back to win the game, but what we did want to do is find another way to improve the battery, which would be our field goal block team, which would be our kicker, snapper, hold, and we did not execute that. And then we had a return down 8 points, which was a 65-yard return, which would have put us at 1st and 10 on the plus 35-yard line, down 1 score with 11 and a half minutes left in the game. And that got called back because we did not execute the detail of, we talked about having our right foot be on the 10-yard line, and our right foot was on the 9-yard line. We talked about being 2 yards behind the thrower, and we were a yard in front of the thrower. And when that happens, the 65-yard gain gets called back. So all in all, disappointed in the outcome, proud of a lot of the aspects of the game that we were able to control. Our number one goal is to control a football game. When you have 38 minutes time of possession, you're in a good control of the game. We had 96 gradable snaps in the game, which again puts you in a good position. However, when you turn the ball over 5 times, you are not in control. And that's what occurred in this past game.
Raise your hand. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, what were some things that Jordan McCloud did well doing, and then maybe what did you see on the 5 interceptions?
Yeah, well, each interception is kind of a different entity, but I would say in terms of what he did well, to answer your question first, Justin, was that he had a good control and demeanor throughout the game. He was able to get to not just his primary read, but he was able to progress. There was a couple times where a tight end was taken away. He got to Berryhill on a curl route. There was a times where he found the flat. He found the halfbacks. He was able to check the ball down. He was able to get out of trouble with his feet, which is another big part of it. He was able to make plays with his feet. I believe it was like 54 yards rushing. I don't know exactly the final number, but I felt like he got us a 3rd down when we ran a quarterback design run up the left sideline. He scrambled forward a couple times and got us a 1st down. And he made some really good throws in the game. He delivered the ball, and Alex Lyons, he probably would have liked to throw it in front of him one time instead of made him turn, but we still got a 20-something yard gain off of that. He obviously had some good throws throughout the game to the running backs, and really to Bryce on the keeper was an excellent touchdown pass. So he did a lot of good things, but as I reminded him when I saw him this morning, like you can't shy away from the fact that we threw 5 turnovers. We had 5 interceptions. And those interceptions came in all different areas. The first interception, you don't lob a screen pass. You have to see the runner. That's the one thing you have to see. We had 4 guys out in front with one guy on defense left, and that was the guy that intercepted the ball. And our offensive line was out there. Their job is to get their hands on the defensive player. The ball was lobbed up there to a point where they couldn't even see it. That's a terrible turnover to start a game. We had a turnover where formationally we were not in the right spots. And then once you see that, you have to not make a bad play worse. And that was the second turnover. It was 2nd and 11 on the 11-yard line. He tried to scramble around, and I think he threw it up to Stanley, but needs to throw that out of bounds or throw it to the flat, which was uncovered when he was scrambled. A couple of the other interceptions, the ones in the fourth quarter, one that went for a pick six. You can't do that. You can't leave it in the hole. You have to just throw it to Booby, who's the guy who the ball should have gone to. The final one, check the ball down. There's no reason with 52 seconds left to force a throw. And then the interception that ended up resulting in a safety that we got was he had Stacy, just got to see it early.
All right. How's Don Brown doing?
He's fine. Sore. He's sore. And he got hit pretty hard. That's a tough one, that's kind of the things you fear. Your back's towards the play, and you really have no idea, that it's coming. And, it was a late hit. It was a 15-yard late hit. And, luckily, he went into Trey. So Trey was actually kind of protected him, and his back's a little sore, but he's doing fine. Thank you for asking.
Are you going to use this as a teachable moment of how do you have to keep your head on a swivel?
I used it as a teachable moment, and I told our operations guys to make sure you stand in front of Don Brown during the game.
Jason, yeah.
I assume, just based on the fact that he's starting in the future, that when you reviewed the film, you found that McCloud's picks were easily fixable, or it's 5 interceptions, but you're still confident with him moving forward. Well, I guess what's the biggest reason?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Jason, is that I do believe that with repetition will come decision making, and that he doesn't need to play hero ball, and he doesn't need to be Superman out there. And I think the mistakes he made are correctable, and I think part of it becomes through experience in our system, and the other part of it is the way the team responded to him throughout the game, and the way the team rallied, and the situation we were in, even with, 3 interceptions going into the fourth quarter, it's still a 5-point game. And when you looked at the amount of progress we made in regards to holding onto the football, making first downs with his feet, I think we were 4 for 4 on fourth down. The things that he did do well gave us confidence that we can build off of that. And I will take on the responsibility of really doing a better job of encouraging him to respect the football and to be to really understand that the most important thing you can do is not turn it over. And that's why I was so confident at the end of the game to name him the starter moving forward, is that so much of the game he did control, we can do a better job helping him.
Michael?
Your run-pass ratio is pretty much reversed from what it had been in the first 3 games. Where do you want that to land, ideally?
I think that I'd like to land more similar to where we were on Saturday evening. It's weird deal because we were down 21-3 against BYU, and threw a bunch of screens that got us back into the game early, and then kind of missed a field goal, then had a 2-minute drive at the end. And we had 2 2-minute drives, which really skewed some of those stats. And then we go down 21-0 against San Diego State and weren't blocking them very well up front. So it turned into a pass fest, which stinks. And then the NAU game, that was just a weird football game. We had a lot of negative runs early in the game, so we thought passing was better. Then we started running the ball better. But if we could build our team from the inside out and really use the size and physicality of our offensive line and then let our quarterback, I think we ended up having 35 passes and 53 runs if you were to take penalties and plays that are not gradable out. That would be a pretty nice formula. And it allowed us to stay in the football game for 12 minutes up until there was 12 minutes left in the fourth. It's 5 points, then it's 8 points, and then even then we're able to really run the football throughout the game.
Jedd, what was the difference in the running game this week?
Confidence was one. I felt like our offensive line believed they could run. They believed they could run the football. We were able to come off the ball and have some early movement, which gives you some more confidence. I thought our runners ran extremely hard. Both, I want to say, Michael and Drake had the majority of all the carries. There was a couple plays that Rocker caught a flat route, and Jalen John had a couple. But those two guys really ran with a sense of purpose and didn't want to get tackled by the first hitter. And they started seeing the holes a little bit better. I mentioned on Saturday evening, the more experience you have running a zone running scheme, the better you do when it comes to being able to read and react. And then if you even look back at the NAU game, which, we started in that second half, we started hitting some pretty explosive runs. I think we just need to build off of it and start seeing more normal fronts and run the ball better.
Time for a few more. So, Rich.
On the flip side, can we go to the defensive line, your evaluation, especially on the safety, Bo Diallo leading that one, and then Jalen Harris's play seemed like he had a real good game watching it the second.
Yeah, I think certainly I believe, two safeties is a rarity in one season. And the fact that we were able to get that done, is a credit to the push from up front. Guys like Mo, Trey, having Mo not play the first half hurt us a little bit. It's good to have him back in there in the second half. JB, Keon Bars is really coming along up front in the interior side of things. And then Jalen Harris and Kenny both showed up as the edge. Jalen really does a nice job he made a couple of plays in the zone running game, spread running game, which was exceptional, where he actually had to, kind of be in what Coach Brown calls the pup technique, where he's kind of sitting at the edge of the tackle, but then also falls back and makes a tackle on the runner. And Jalen's been really a workhorse for us. He's done a great job defensively, and that's been a credit to him and why he wears the number 1 and why he has been named the captain.
Troy. Damien.
Jedd, when it comes to Jordan, what kind of coaching style does he respond to best?
Well, one of the biggest issues with Jordan has been timing, that we haven't had a lot of time with him, and trying to learn him and learn what is best for Jordan. I think that Jordan's a guy that likes honesty. I think he's somebody that wants to hear the truth and wants to be held accountable. And he has a very calming demeanor about him. Like he'll kind of give me the, I know what you're saying, I got you type mentality. And he does it in a manner of like, I need to be able to work through it myself a little bit too. He does have experience, and, I think he wants to be corrected. He wants to be coached really hard, but with him, the demeanor is more of, hey, man, this is what can happen. This is what can happen, and let's do a little bit more of that.
We'll finish with Michael.
Besides rest for the injured guys, what is the biggest benefit of this bye week for the team?
It gives us an opportunity to flush away, the 4 games and be able to use this as an 8-game restart. All Pac-12 games ahead of us. We've got all the Pac-12 South games are still ahead of us. And it gives us an opportunity to look at what we do well and what we don't. And we'll have a major, let's call it fundamentals practice tonight, where we're not really worrying as much on scheme as we are about technique. And I think all of our players can benefit from that. And then the next couple of days will be, the rough and rowdy, and we'll be able to have some training camp-like practices where we can find a way to be physical and work on tackling and blocking and all those things. And then there's also a place that recharge is good. We've been going at it pretty hard, and I want our players to have that opportunity to be able to kind of take that weekend, decompress themselves, be smart, make wise decisions, and then move forward. And that, and I will say this, as I say, make wise decisions and be smart, but also take care of themselves. I want to send our team's deepest condolences and sympathy to both Washington State and Utah and the situation that they've had with both of their players, or each team had it with one of their players. is just so unfortunate. And it reminds all of us that every situation we put ourselves in and our players put themselves in is an opportunity for something bad to happen. And we've got to do a great job of protecting ourselves during this time, especially during a bye week. And our thoughts and prayers are to Aaron Lowe's family and Brandon Gray's family and to Coach Rolovich and Coach Whittingham, who I reached out to both yesterday. And just know that Arizona football is thinking about them and praying for them. Okay, thank you, guys.